Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well folks, the time of reckoning has come for little Jussie Smollett, or little Jussie Smollett. After all of the efforts from Chicago's corrupt prosecutor Kim Foxx to essentially let the guy go scot-free, nearly 3 years later, the final time of reckoning has come to put this fake hate hoax to rest. Now, we covered the entirety of the Kyle Rittenhouse case. I mean, it seems like we're getting high-profile case after high-profile case, from Kyle Rittenhouse to Jussie Smollett and Ghislaine Maxwell. But in Kyle's case specifically, the prosecution team was an absolute disaster, with Dumb and Dumber, Binger, and Beef Sandwich completely fumbling, given their prosecution was purely political and they had no facts on their side. Well, now, in this case, it's a little bit different. The prosecution team has all of the evidence, they're doing a great job, and Jussie Smollett's defense team is an absolute walking disaster, with one of the most ridiculous things I've heard in this entire case, essentially being their main argument, their main defense point in their opening statements, or opening arguments, whatever it's called. And so let me update you guys with everything that's going on from this 2019 hate hoax. I'll update you guys on all of the new information that we've seen, and of course we'll talk about why this court case is so incredibly important. But before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share it as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. And with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so first off, just take a look at these headlines. Jussie Smollett's lawyer claims he was a real victim during opening statements, and it goes as far that they argued. Smollett attorney claims Osundaro brothers are, quote, sophisticated criminals who set him up. I mean, you have to be out of your mind. That is one of the most outrageous claims I have ever seen. Now, I know it's been basically 3 years since we've spoken about this, but if we just refresh our memory a little bit, we know that there are literal text messages of Jussie Smollett essentially orchestrating the entire thing. There's also a paper trail. He literally paid them for their services. There's then video footage of them buying the equipment. I mean, you contrast this absolutely ridiculous crime by possibly the worst criminals on the planet, including Jussie Smollett himself, put that next to the word sophisticated in the headline, and you must be scratching your head. Sophisticated in what regard? I mean, no wonder the Osundaro brothers are suing Jussie Smollett's attorneys for defamation. No wonder the Osundaro brothers are cooperating with law enforcement and essentially spilling the beans on the whole thing. I mean, not to mention, talk about the word sophisticated, when we literally have this video right here from last year.
The reason I'm calling is because of this. Let's not forget. Sir, okay. Do you want to take it off or anything? Yeah, I do. I just want to see it.
The guy literally waited in his apartment with the rope around his neck, and the first instinct of the first responding police officers is, you want to take that thing off? And he says, oh yeah, I'll take it off. I just really wanted you guys to see. I mean, talk about projection. Jussie Smollett trial legal expert says guilty verdict is highly probable because of strong evidence. Of course, evidence that continues to pile up as we have a new revelation in the case. Jussie Smollett and Nigerian brothers went on a, quote, dry run of the fake hate crime, says the prosecution. The 39-year-old star has been charged with 6 counts of disorderly conduct for allegedly staging the fake attack, paying the brothers $3,500 to attack him on the streets. And so Jussie Smollett's defense team and their ridiculous claim that the Osundaro brothers somehow orchestrated the entire thing as a trap, as a setup, they're sophisticated criminals. For what? $3,500? I mean, to what gain? Their reputation has been completely destroyed. They face potential legal repercussion. They weren't sophisticated criminals, they were people who were desperate for money. And Jussie Smollett, Mr. Fancy Actor on a hit TV series, making a great amount of money using the Osundaro brothers, from what we can understand, as mere pawns in his ploy to become some political martyr, really puts it all into perspective now, doesn't it? He took 2 Nigerian immigrants who were clearly so desperate for such a small amount of money. I mean, $3,500 in the city of Chicago probably gets you what, like 2 months rent? If that, depending on where you're staying. They were desperate for money, he used them as cheap labor in a certain way, and then once he gets caught, instead of taking responsibility for his actions, he continues to play the victim like an absolute sociopath, and now is trying to spin the whole thing and not claim that he's innocent, but claim that he was set up by these evil brothers who trusted him enough to get involved in this plot for $3,500. Talk about a scumbag. You know, I've heard lefties say some of the most ridiculous things. One of them is that somehow this whole situation is right-wing cancel culture, and right-wingers want to destroy Jussie Smollett's life, which is frankly the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my entire life. Cancel culture? I mean, the guy organized this plot to literally slander Trump supporters as hateful domestic terrorists who are just randomly attacking people of color in the street, creating this narrative that he sold to the mainstream media and to the public that played out in front of tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of eyes, literally affecting the 2020 election as well, with complete fools like Eric Swalwell who either falls for every single hoax or frankly I just think he does it on purpose. No matter the lie, no matter how unbelievable, no matter how much of a clear deep state plot it is, he'll promote it endlessly with his tweet from back in January 29th, 2019. What happened to Jussie Smollett is violent, tragic. Thankfully, he will recover. But hate crimes like this are happening more frequently, egged on by careless, hate-filled rhetoric. We start reducing these crimes by rejecting the speech. Neither can ever be accepted as normal, of course, implying that it's all Donald Trump's fault. The hate-filled rhetoric on the MAGA side. Also pushing the rhetoric that hate crimes are somehow happening more frequently, even though a large majority of them are total hoaxes, which has been proven by various studies. And there is no evidence whatsoever that the main perpetrators of these hate crimes are Trump supporters. But of course, Biden-Harris during the 2020 election used the Jussie Smollett story for their own political purpose. We have the receipts. Kamala Harris back in January 2019 at Jussie Smollett is one of the kindest, most gentle human beings I know. I'm praying for his quick recovery. This was an attempted modern-day lynching. No one should have to fear for their life because of their sexuality or the color of their skin. We must confront this hate. Hate that once again Democrats fabricate in order to fulfill their narrative. The narrative comes first, then the hoaxes are used to justify what Democrats are pushing in post. Oh, Donald Trump and his evil supporters. It's literally 1940s Germany reincarnated. The hateful rhetoric. Hate crimes are on the rise. Of course, hate crimes aren't on the rise. There's no evidence to suggest that there's any hate coming from Donald Trump's side of the political aisle. And so where it doesn't exist, well, you might as well create it if you're pushing the rhetoric, and that's exactly what Democrats do here. There's no cancel culture. Jussie Smollett pulled a fraud on the American public, demonizing and slandering tens of millions of people before a very important election. Jussie Smollett is going to be found guilty, but let me tell you one thing. The punishment that Jussie Smollett gets for the act that he has committed and for the crime that he is charged with will pale in comparison to the damage that he created, and more importantly to the damage that he was intending on creating for his own personal political gain and the political gain of his elitist friends. He deserves everything that comes to him and probably even more. It's more proof that Democrats continue to divide. They continue to fan the flames instead of find solution, because that division, that racial animus, and that general discontent in society is the only thing that justifies their pursuit of power. It's absolutely despicable, and it's all connected, and Jussie Smollett, hopefully, is going to prison where he belongs. That's what I got for you guys, though. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share it as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. I gotta get back to work, though. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.